you cannot do and say you want to change your life if you don't do in action. I love and I'm not sure what is the exact quote from Einstein, but it's insanity to think you're going to change anything if you don't change. You can say it,
Yeah.
but if you don't take the action, nothing is going to happen. And then the last part, and people don't forget about the last part. So let me just get this quickly. Sorry about this. The last part. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Celebrate. You have to celebrate.
Yeah.
You have to celebrate small milestones. You have to celebrate big milestones. I will never forget the first time my husband said to me, Sanet, I've got a present for you, because one of my was we wanted to go to New Zealand permanently, and because of my body mass index, New Zealand's policy is you only can get a working permit if your body mass index of BMI is 35% and less. Mine was way too much. So one of the things that I knew I am successful that I could measure is to look at how my body index will go lower and lower and lower until I can get to 35. I had 2 years to do this, because in New Zealand, that policy, and then also your age policy. So in 2020, when I was 55, I had to get a working permit and be in the work before my 55th birthday. It was on the 20th of June, 2020. So I knew I didn't have a lot of time. I knew I had to lose the weight. I had to. I wanted to be with my grandson in New Zealand, because they left South Africa in 2018 because of the violence that's here in South Africa. And the stuff that happened to my daughter, as she lost her unborn baby, and more unsafe stuff that happened to them as a family. So they left South Africa. So for me, that was the most biggest thing, is to get to under or 35 or less. And I did it. But I remember my husband called me, Sanet. So we call ourselves, I call him Liffy, and he calls me Liffy. We are married this year for 33 years. Liffy means loved one, but in our home language. And he called me, Liffy. And I ran. I tried to do a lot of, but not really ran. It's just walking fast. When I was my big body, I said, I'm coming. And he said, I've got a present for you. And just like a child, I was like, oh, I grabbed the scissors, I cut, and I opened it. It was the most beautiful garment, black scale. And I hugged the scale. And my beautiful John, my husband, said, am I chopped liver? Where's my hug? And I hugged him and I said, thank you, because that means one of my what was, I could say, yes, I've got my what to measure my weight, to measure not the weight, but my BMI, because my body mass index was the most important thing for me to make sure I am successful in what I was doing. So it's all little things. So that I had to celebrate. I think I put on my Forever song and a lot more other songs. I danced for 2 hours. And my husband came past and he said, are you still dancing on this? Are you still there? I said, yes, I'm celebrating my beautiful black scale. I'm so happy for my black scale. So I was so happy for that. So with us, we could not go to New Zealand because I would have flown out on the 12th of April, 2020. But on the 27th, our borders closed due to COVID. And New Zealand's borders closed on the 26th of February. So, March. And it was I could not fly over. But I didn't know that, so we cannot be permanently in New Zealand. So that's the one thing. But I didn't know God is going to do something else with my life. So I started with the women's group in 2021. I went to America for 6 months, 2022, and went on stage with my hat and a dress, no shoes. And look,
Yeah. Yeah. Good shoes.
I don't have shoes on because on stage as well, I want to tell people, oh, I'm so sorry, let me just adjust
Hmm.
my camera again.
No problem.
I want to tell people, even it's you can have that pockets of happiness. It's so fast. Take off your shoes.
Yeah.
Take off your shoes and then do something that you never done that day and have fun. I know again it's a long answer, but I'm sure you get the gist of it, my beautiful John.
Oh, you're great. I enjoy the answer. So I just to go backwards a little bit, you had your why, you had your date, and that inspired you to lose the weight. And on top of that, your husband supported you. You know, he gave you the scale. I don't know what he might have said and stuff as you kept going, but he supported you instead of just waiting for you to take the action, right? So he helped you, you know, and said, but I'm here to back you up. Here's something to start, right? And then whatever else happened after that, I don't know. But you just dancing to lose the weight to get to your grandson and your other family in New Zealand. I mean, that's huge, right? Yeah, I don't hear this much. You know, this is the first time I'm hearing it, right? You know, somebody dancing to lose weight to go to New Zealand. You know, that takes a lot. That takes a lot of effort. And what was the time? What was it like the timeline that you had?
I had 2 years, or just a little bit less than 2 years, but I had 2 years before my 55th birthday. So it was like, I had to do this. I
Yeah,
had to do this.
and 2 years is a lot, but it's also small, right? But
Yeah.
you got it done. Yeah, that's awesome.
But I can just say something to you. It was one of the most difficult things I had to do. So in the beginning, I didn't have really support from the family because remember,
Mm,
all my years, I went on diet on a Monday, and then I didn't continue. So the family, I didn't tell the family this time I'm doing this. I from going into that same day, I went into the mirror. I said to God, God, I'm very scared because now I've promised you I'm going to do this. But from my track record, I know I could not ever get it right because I was overweight since I was 12 years old. So I'm very scared. I'm actually very, I don't know where even to start because it's so big. It's so daunting because I could not get it right. Remember, I was 54 years old. And then I remember, and I said, but Sanet, you know your why. So I was very brave. I went into the mirror and I said, my beautiful Lord, I know why I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight because I want to be with my beautiful Zander. And then I looked myself in the eye and I said, but Sanet, yes, you want to lose the weight. Your why is big. You want to be with Zander, but why? And I was still very happy and I was dancing nearer to the mirror and I said, I want to lose the weight to go on a swing on the, with my Zander because that I dreamt about going on a swing with him, to run on the beach with him, to be more active with him. And then I said, okay, Sanet, you want to be with Zander, you want to play with him, but why? But John, I didn't know I'm going to encounter this. I want to live. I don't want to die. I think that was even harder for me to realize that afternoon than not trying to get to the cave. I could not get to the cave. I didn't tell the family, but I made a decision that day. I am going to move more than I'm going to eat. So I started to leave food on the plate while we're still in New Zealand. Didn't say anything to the family because I knew what they're going to tell me. Oh, yeah, you're going to, oh, yeah, you know. I had to get myself ready before telling, before sharing. And yes, it took about 3 months before I decided to tell my husband. But then he also saw, but something is happening here. Sanet, you losing weight. In the first 3 months, I lost 8 kilograms, but I'm not sure how much pounds is it. So you have to times 8 kilograms times 2.2 to get the pounds. I lost it in 3 months. But can I tell you, the first 3 months, I have danced almost the whole day. And I still had to work. I worked. I went into the ladies' cubicle and just go and dance because I was so hungry. or I was feeling like everybody is eating around me all this food that I cannot. I was with a dietitian, and the dietitian gave me 5 meals a day.